Welcome back to The Power Shift, a podcast about urban energy policy and climate action. I'm Blake.
And I'm Grace. This week we will be interviewing Teddy Alfond, who will be talking about his first-hand experience of energy policy while living in Denver.
Welcome, Teddy. First of all, thank you for agreeing to be on the show. We really appreciate that. We'd like to ask you about Denver and some of the ways it's combating waste, emissions, and pollution. So to start off, like as a resident of the area, are you aware of any policies that the city has regarding those issues?
Yeah, for sure. Denver's been pretty proactive about sustainability over the past decade. One of the biggest frameworks is the 80 by 50 climate action plan. That aims to reduce greenhouse gas emissions by 80% by 2050. More recently, we've updated that through the Climate Protection Fund, which voters approved in 2020, basically funds renewable energy projects, energy efficiency upgrades, and things like community solar. We've also passed policies like Energize Denver, which requires large commercial and multifamily buildings to meet energy efficiency standards over time. Since buildings are one of the biggest sources of emissions in cities, that's a pretty big deal. Transportation-wise, they've been investing in public transit and bike infrastructure to cut down on car emissions. On the waste side, Denver's expanded composting and recycling programs and is working towards diverting more waste from landfills.
Oh, wow. Okay, so those actually seem like they're pretty solid. Do you know how effective those are or have been so far?
Yeah, from what I've seen mixed results and data. Mostly positive. The emissions have gone down compared to earlier baselines, though not as fast as the city originally hoped. Population growth kind of offsets some of those gains, but still programs like Energize Denver are ramping up. So their biggest impact actually expected over the next decade is buildings comply. The Climate Protection Fund has already started financing things like electrifying homes and expanding solar access, especially in lower income neighborhoods, which is a big equity win. So overall, I'd say the policies are working, but most cities like Denver, it's still playing catch up with the scale of the climate problem.
Okay, yeah, that seems like a really good thing. I mean, every city's still kind of workshopping it. Have these policies really affected your everyday life at all? Are they disruptive, or do you even notice them?
I mean, they're not super disruptive day to day. Most people probably don't notice them directly. Like if you live in a newer renovated building, you might benefit from better insulation or more efficient heating without thinking about it. You might notice compost bins or recycling rules a lot more. And if you're a business owner or landlord, the building regulations are definitely more noticeable because they require upgrades. Transportation charges like more bike lanes or transit options are probably the most visible. But for the average resident, it's more like a gradual shift rather than something that disrupts your routine.
Okay, well, that's good that they're not destructive because I feel like that would make the whole thing a lot harder to deal with. Do you think there's any problems in Denver that are related to this topic that need to be addressed?
Yeah, one big issue that I still think needs work is transportation emissions. Denver is a really car-dependent city, and even with improvements, public transit doesn't always meet people's needs, especially outside the urban core. Air energy is another concern because of its geography. Denver can trap pollutants, leading to ozone problems, especially in the summer. So even though policies exist, the actual air quality doesn't reflect that progress yet.
Okay, wow. So what is a policy that you should be put in place then?
I think a strong next step would be more aggressive investment in public transit and making it genuinely competitive with driving, like faster routes, better coverage, maybe even a reduced fee or fares. Also, expanding incentives for electrification, like helping people switch to electric vehicles or heat pumps would make a big difference. The policies are there, but scaling them up faster would really snowball their effectiveness.
Okay. All right, that's great. Thank you. Finally, do you believe that Denver is a sustainable city?
Yeah, I think based on all that stuff we just talked about, all these new policies, I think it's definitely on route to being a more sustainable city. I do still think there's a lot more work to be done.
Okay, thank you. Thank you so much, Teddy. We really appreciate having you come on here. You're extremely helpful, and I hope that you have a great rest of your day.
Yeah, thanks. Thanks for having me.
That was a great interview, Teddy. Thanks again for coming on the show. We really appreciated hearing about your insight regarding the effectiveness of Denver's waste and energy policies.
All right, thanks for tuning into our podcast. I'm Grace.
And I'm Blake.
And this is The Power Shift, a podcast about urban energy policy and climate action.